And welcome to JPKCooks and welcome to my home. So today I'm going to be making chicken strips coated in a nice crispy covering. So it's my take on KFC. So let's get started, shall we? So make sure you've got nice clean hands. So we're going to begin by cutting up our chicken. So I'm going to be using just 2 breasts today, and if you need to, what you want get rid of some of the fat off the chicken. You don't really want that to end up in the end product. Get rid of that. That is quite nice. Okay, so you want nice strips, about that big. Okay, just over 2 inches. But it really doesn't matter. It's kind of whatever suits your preference, really. Okay. Cut through this one. Okay. Then that goes straight into the bowl. Okay, that's nice and clean. Okay, one there. Another one there. That. Okay, so we've got our chicken. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna season this up a little bit. So today I'm gonna be using some soy sauce, but you can also use Maggi. It's a liquid seasoning, which is also quite nice. Can be quite meaty though, often for stews and casseroles, but I quite like to use it a lot in my cooking anyway. So just a couple of good gloves of that soy sauce. Okay. And then we want some chili flakes, just about a teaspoon of chili flakes so it's not too hot, and some dried thyme, and about a teaspoon or so, about a teaspoon of paprika. And cayenne pepper is optional. I like my stuff a bit hot, so I'm just putting a small pinch of cayenne pepper in there. And then you also want some black pepper. Black pepper goes in there, just a pinch, a couple of pinches of black pepper. And you also want some nutmeg. I'm using fresh nutmeg, but you can use nutmeg powder, which is probably a lot easier to do. So I'm just going to grate that in there. There you go. Probably about half a teaspoon or so of nutmeg will do. Okay. So we just mix that around, just get the meat coated in that. There you go. Already that's got some really beautiful aromas coming off of that. It smells absolutely delightful. Right, so we've got our chicken to one side and we're just going to prepare our flour mix. So into that goes about 100 grams of all-purpose plain flour and about 30 to 40 grams of corn flour. Goes in there. Make sure you get it all out, no wastage. Okay, then into that we want about a tablespoon of dried oregano, some pinch of black pepper. I also like to use a little bit of white pepper in there, so probably again about a pinch of white pepper goes in there. My good old friend again, some paprika, about a tablespoon of paprika goes into there. And then you just mix that up, just mix that around. Yeah, you can see the herbs there going through that. And some spices as well. So we've got our flour mix ready now. As you can see, I've got a sort of coating station going on here. And then we're going to move on to our breadcrumbs, which is really, really simple. So breadcrumbs, I've got some breadcrumbs here from some old bread that I had. You can bake it in the oven for about 10 minutes until it goes crispy and then whack it into the food processor. Or you can buy ready-made breadcrumbs from the shop, it really doesn't matter. This is really cheap. It's a really cheap way of doing it, this is. So cornflakes, that's my secret ingredient. Just goes in there. Just mix that around. Okay, cornflakes are done. So put it that way. So we go flour. Last of all, we have to do our eggs. 1. And 2. There's a fair bit of work that goes into this recipe, but I'll tell you what, really worth it. Okay, so just get that all nice and beaten in. Okay, now for the chicken. So what I tend to do is I like to use one hand as wet and one hand as dry. That way you don't get all the sort of sticky flour and stuff on your hand, okay? So we'll put this here. And we start off with our flour. Let's move that across a little bit. Okay. So, chicken into the flour with one hand, into the egg with the other. That's your wet hand. And then we go into the cornflakes breadcrumb mix with the other hand. Okay, and you just keep continuing the process until you've done all of your chicken. Okay? Okay, so our chicken is now done and we are ready to start frying. Okay, so what you want to do is drop a little bit of cornflake into your oil just to make sure that it's hot enough, and then just pick up your chicken and drop it away from you so the fat doesn't splash into your face. Okay, and you don't want to overfill the fryer, so 3 pieces is more than enough. Now this should take no more than 8 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes depending on how dark you like it, and just make sure that you, when you first put it in, leave it, but after a couple of minutes you need to turn it so that the bottom of the chicken piece doesn't get too dark. Okay, so we're going to move that, and look at that, beautiful colour already, absolutely delightful. Wow, look at that. Now the smaller pieces may not take as long as, or usually don't take as long as the larger pieces, so just be mindful of that. Okay, the smaller pieces maybe 5 or 6 minutes, the larger pieces maybe 7 or 8 minutes. And you don't want to have your fat too hot. So I've got it on a medium heat to allow it to cook inside rather than just browning it on the outside. Now if you find you've taken them out too early and you cut it, you can always put it back in, or you can place it into the oven. So that looks just about done to me, that one there, smaller one. Okay, those ones I'm going to leave in for 1 more minute or so. Okay, yep, they look ready to me, so take those out, pop those in. Just make sure you've got everything ready. So you've got... Okay, and we're all finished now, and there you have it, beautiful KFC chicken, home style. Okay, right, now, you can see the cornflakes on top of it, so let's just try a little bit, and that's what gives it that crisp. Okay. Oh, absolutely delicious. Then the cornflakes make it really, really crispy, okay? You must try this. Once you try this, it will be your only recipe for KFC style chicken. Okay, thank you very much. See you next time. We made KFC crispy style chicken, so to accompany that, we're going to make a slaw, and it's very simple, especially with the help of our food processor. Okay, so first of all, we're going to start off with some red cabbage, but you can put whatever you want into this. White cabbage, you can put fennel, you know, it's really up to you, okay? So off we go. So we're going to slice our cabbage to start. Straight on there like that. So we're using red cabbage today. It gives it a lovely colour. And then we want half a red onion as well. Okay. So that's done. So we've done our slicing. Okay. So now I'm going to turn my trusted food processor blade upside down to the grating side. Okay. And we'll get that, we'll start it off. Right, with your courgette, you don't need to peel it. Just top and tail. Into the bin it goes. There we go. So we're just going to grate that in there like that. There you go. And our carrots. Again, there's no need to peel them. Really. Actually, there's a lot of real good vitamins in the peel. So, we've now got all our vegetables ready for our slaw. So we're going to empty them out into the bowl. Yeah, that looks absolutely delightful. Look at the colours on that, absolutely beautiful. Right, so out that goes. There we go, just get that in, scrape that out. Okay, so now that we've got our vegetables all nice and shredded, don't forget, you don't need a food processor for this. You can also use a simple hand grater. It's still as effective. So, we're going to use mayonnaise today, but you can actually use natural yogurt for a much healthier take on this slaw. Okay, so you probably want just a couple of squeezes in there of it. So, about that much. I don't know, maybe about 2 or 3 tablespoonfuls. Okay, so mix that around. Probably best at this stage just to get your hands in there, just to mix it around. And you can add fresh herbs to this if you like as well. It's entirely up to you. Okay. So there we have it. Beautiful slaw to go with your KFC crispy chicken.